So the spar point is no need for, well, just try the experiment in something like 1/8 of the velocity you're currently using. I mean, you really don't need to smash everything into the wall. You don't. The experiment should be provable at any speed, and just about.
If it's provable at any speed, why are you so bothered about the speed then?
And so that'll be the irony, is Falwell's doing exactly the opposite. He's putting so little energy in that you're not...
So little energy. I'm moving 2.2 pounds. I don't think you'd like it smacking you in the face.
Being fair to the experiment, because of the vagaries of the frictions that exist in the experiment. And again, so they're...
Frictions? And what frictions are these? What formula are you using for that one?
Let's move on to Falwell's nonsense. All right, so another context for this whole conversation is the fact that they won't even argue that these experiments need to be done, that this needs to be researched by regular physicists, that,
It has been millions of times, and when real physicists do it, you call them fakers and frauds as well. So what would be the point?
There needs to be a lot more testing of this 1/2 mv squared theory. Okay.
It's been tested time and time again, you moron.
Even coming up with that magical experiment showing the 25 times the fuel to make something spin 5 times as fast. That...
Not 25 times the fuel, you keep saying this, it's such a retarded argument. 25 times the energy is required to make something go 5 times as fast. And you've been shown it with an experiment. You've seen evidence, but you live in denial.
And just, you could just imagine. I mean, obviously I can have a contest and even make it $500 or something.
You could have a contest and pay $500. I don't fucking think so.
For the best experimental blah, blah, blah. But no one's going to see these videos, so it's a waste of time. And so just imagine if Steve Mould, instead of just announcing a fake experiment, one he didn't do, and just saying...
So again, you're calling somebody else a faker?
What the results of it would be, even though he didn't do it, instead of doing that, if he had just said, hey, look, there's some interesting facts about levers, and if...
That everybody already knows, yeah, except you, because you're a moron.
He offered the contest.
Oh, right, so you want somebody else to offer the money now. What a surprise.
Yeah, you could literally have thousands of people thinking about it and trying to do good experiments, proving it once and for all. So...
But it's been proven time and time again. He's not showing anything new.
No, it's a dramatically different world if these people would be on the right bandwagon. The bandwagon should be science needs to have integrity. They have to have evidence.
It does, and you call even professional scientists and physicists fakers and frauds. So what difference does it make if a professional does it? Because you'd still... wouldn't come out your way, you'd still say it's fake or fraud.
If they're going to argue for a case, okay? Very weak evidence shouldn't make very strong assertions. And
true. So why do you keep doing it? Because you've got absolutely no evidence for your claims.
That's the part that's really ugly, and they should...
Yeah, it is pretty ugly, and you keep doing it.
Concede it's ugly, and they're fighting on the wrong side. They're protecting unevidenced physics, and that's really... Yeah, that's bad.
It is bad, and you keep doing it, don't you?
All right, so Falwell he has what he claims is an equally oiled and slick surface. So like this whiteboard or something, it's a very flat, slick surface, and then he's waxed it or oiled it to make it even slicker. So when he does this launching of 2 objects, with the lever launcher. All right.
Catapult.
That they're in equal conditions. So his spring is really weird. I mean, the whole thing is a little strange. But
his spring is really weird. How is it weird?
Anyway, this doesn't matter. All right. So the idea is you're gonna push the 1 mass at twice the distance, the 2 mass at 1 distance. So he has real weights, precision weights, which...
Ooh, real weights, as opposed to what?
Not really of any value. So they're cylindrical and tall. Okay, so this, they're like this, and he's hitting them
Oh yeah, they're like freaking skyscrapers, aren't they?
this way. So obviously this is not ideal. I mean, pushing things that are shaped like this.
In your world, nothing's ideal. Because it never comes out your way, so therefore it's not ideal, is it?
Across the surface, not ideal. Now, they probably have a flat bottom, okay, which is also, frankly...
Wow, you're amazing. Powers of deduction. Yes, they've got a flat bottom.
not ideal when you're trying to make something frictionless. So what you really want to do is have some kind of... You want the smallest contact surface. So ideally, the round object would be nice if you just put a ball bearing on the bottom.
Yeah, then we've got the whole problem of fucking not rolling and sliding again, haven't we? Where, in this example I did, everything's sliding. Dipshit.
And you just have this little tiny contact point, and that's pretty good. It creates a nice slidable surface. I mean...
And yeah, if I was to do that, and it still didn't come out your way, what then?
I guess ideally you could have something pointy. That would be even better. So the less surface...
Yeah, something pointy to just dig in, yeah. Make a nice big scrape, yeah, that wouldn't slow it down. Dickhead.
Have it turns out, the less friction you're going to have. So that's what you want to head for, not a flat surface, because that tends to, even on oil, create a vacuum between the two surfaces, so it makes...
A vacuum? Fucking hell. You do come up with some bullshit, you.
It's actually sticky. More stickier than you need, especially with the weights as heavy as these weights are. All right, and so what's he, so first we don't know anything about how slick this surface is, how evenly it's slicked and anything. So what he does is, okay, he pulls back the lever, and what he finds is, okay, when he pulls the two mass back and does the...
I don't find, I knew what was going to happen, because I can predict what's going to happen through physics.
It goes out with a certain speed. And what happens is when the one mass is going to be at that same distance, and it doesn't move. And he said...
Wow, so you figured that bit out?
It's inertia that means it doesn't move. I mean, it doesn't move at all. So, I mean, the lever's pulled back, and it just stays there. Now, obviously, that's not inertia, because, like, if you're doing it in space or something, it would have to move, even if they're...
I'll just get on my rocket now and get to space and test this out then, eh? Get my spacesuit on. Again, what the fuck are you talking about?
Was this inertia thing that was heavier, it would just move really slowly. It doesn't have anything to do with inertia. Okay, it's static friction. And obviously when you're doing...
It's static friction. So something with... You saw it move twice the mass with twice the contact area. But for some reason, when it's half of that with half the contact area, all of a sudden it's got more static friction and therefore it won't move. Doesn't really work as an argument, does it?
Something over a longer distance, you're applying less force per distance, blah, 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 blah.
What? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, again. So that's it. No fucking argument, just blah, 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 blah.
It's only a one mass after all. So it's just static friction. So instead of just saying, oh, okay, well, let me tighten the spring a little tiny bit until this one does move. Because all you have...
Right, dick shit. Oh, fucking hell. If I tighten the spring till it moves, that means I've put more energy in to make it move. Why would I have to put more energy in to make it move, you fucking moron? This is the whole point of the demonstration, that you clearly either lying about or you really are thick as pig shit.
Do is overcome the static friction. Static friction doesn't cost you anything if you break it. So once you break static friction, you really don't lose any energy. Now, you could also tap on the table, and that might just make the weight jump a little, and therefore
I put the weights down right next to it. It never fucking moved, did it?
It'll break the friction. But static friction is friction in one location. Obviously, it's not drag friction, so it doesn't add up and accumulate and all that kind of stuff. So it's really not an issue. But regardless, you can get rid of the issue by just tightening the spring. So
you're talking, when it's in motion, that's kinetic friction. It's not in motion. So yes, there's some static friction there, but it can't have more static friction than something that's twice as fucking heavy than it.
Now, he got all kinds of weird numbers. He put it at this 1.4 distance, the one mass at the 1.4 distance, and made the claim that somehow that's the appropriate distance. But you know that it's all of these distances.
And again, you saw it where the lever moves at the same speed with the one mass at √2 distance. So therefore, it can only be going 1.4 times the velocity. It didn't move at twice the distance. For fuck's sake.
Distances will change how fast this moves. We're trying to make the lever move the same exact speed. That's the whole point of it.
No, you were trying to make the lever move the same speed with the one mass at twice the distance. And the whole point of everybody showing you these experiments is to show that it doesn't happen. You brought in the lever because you thought it was some workaround, but energy still has to be conserved. When you launch a 2 mass with a certain amount of energy and you half that mass, for the simple fact of energy I can't even speak. For the simple fact of energy conservation, it will only go 1.4 times the velocity. Adding a lever doesn't make any difference because it's still powered by the spring.
The experiment is to prove the lever moves exactly the same with a 2 mass and a 1 mass. Now, I can't put it.
I showed you the lever moving the same with a 2 mass and a 1 mass, and it has to go at √2 the distance, and therefore it's only going √2 the velocity.
So anyway, the whole point is to create the idea as close to the idealization as we can get of a 1 mass going 2v and a 2 mass going 1v, and
I can make the 2 mass go 1v, and I can make the 1 mass go 2v. But to make the two, to make it go twice as fast, I would have to put more energy in because it requires more energy. This is the bit you're not getting. Well, I think you do get it, but you're just lying.
And the lever moving the same for both, proving it's the same work to move a 1 mass at 2 velocity as it is to move a 1 mass, a 2 mass at 1 velocity as a 1 mass at 2 velocity.
No, it requires more energy.
And momentum is always conserved unless you lose.
But momentum's not going in, energy's going in. And that has to be conserved. And it is.
It to some stupid thing you did. Now, the other thing was quite obvious. Even in the big mass, they moved that way. Okay, they moved that way. So obviously you want to get rid of that. And again, the little stick over here would get rid of that problem.
I could do that. I will do that. But it still won't make any difference. It's still not going to come out your way.
And it has to be immovable. Not some rubbery stick, but something pretty firm. And
yeah, I'll just put a fucking bit of rubber in, yeah. Like, I need to be told that. Fucking hell, moron.
Because it's firm, the energy won't go in, okay? It won't get used up. And you'll get a better, straighter launch.
Yeah, it'll be even more accurate. And you'll be even more proved wrong.
All right. But, obviously the single mass dramatically moved that way more. So, obviously, more energy was going, with the 2 mass. The 2 mass did this, the 1 mass did this. So, obviously, the 1 mass was losing a lot more energy to this direction.
So you say.
And such. And it's obvious. So, obviously, in this experiment, there's just no excuse to do it at this.
The experiment was very obvious, and you... Like I say, you're either fucking lying or you really are just really stupid. Too fucking stupid for physics.
And how level it is and how even it is, and I doubt you.
The thing is, I spend a long time leveling stuff, and in a lot of experiments I do, I don't show it because I really don't think people want to see that. Let's just have an hour of fucking showing me, leveling shit. It's pretty fucking boring. You think we don't do these things meticulously. That's your fucking standard because you don't actually do anything. And what little bit you have done was, a 4-year-old could probably do better. And again, you just make these assumptions and assertions about what goes on when you know nothing.
Did any of that. Again, just chicanery. They just keep manipulating experiments to get them to produce the...
It's not manipulating, it's exactly how it's predicted to come out. That's the thing. This is the thing you're not getting. You're making an insane claim about free energy, basically. That's what you're claiming all the time. You're basically saying with the same energy you can make a 2 mass go 1 velocity and you can make a 1 mass go 2 velocity. That breaks the law of energy conservation. It can't happen. It doesn't happen. It's been shown time and time again that it doesn't happen, but you keep claiming it because you keep saying momentum has to be conserved. But we're not talking about momentum, are we? We're talking about energy.
Results they want. So it's no different, essentially, than Professor Lewin's clay cart experiment.
And there we go again. So you're basically saying, why aren't real physicists doing these experiments? And then there's a real physicist doing an experiment, and here you are calling him a fake and a fraud. So it doesn't matter who does the experiments. The simple fact is they don't align with your very weird and wonderful fucking fantasy world. Therefore, they're all wrong. So it doesn't matter who does it. You know, if a 3-year-old kid, you know, did an experiment and it came out your way, it'd be the best experiment in the world. You know, if you totally fucked it up and it come out your way, you'd be like, oh, it's a brilliant experiment. That 3-year-old's a genius. But, you know, all everybody else in the world, they're all idiots because it didn't come out my way.
It's, you know, they're rigging the experiment to do a demonstration.
You do realise you're slandering us all. This is the thing, you're calling us, we're cheating, we're rigging, we're chicanery. You are slandering. You are saying things that are not true. We are, you talk shit, you put it on video form, and we call you out on it because you're talking shit, you're lying. You're making accusations that we're doing things that we're not, and you've got no evidence to back that up.
Of, frankly, something that isn't true. It just isn't. You have to conserve momentum, and as Professor Lewin says, nature doesn't give a fuck about...
Oh, so Professor Lewin, not 2 seconds ago, was a fake and a fraud. Now, is spot on.
Kinetic energy conservation. Again, in all these experiments...
You are such a fucking cherry picker.
All right, so summing up again. So look, this is the big one, you know, the gorilla in the, or the elephant in the whatever.
Yeah, that's what the title of the video is, the elephant in the room. You've seen it. And again, 25 times the force you put there. No, it's not 25 times the force. Just put a little line at the bottom of that F, 25 times the energy. You can't even get the argument correct. You know, you're all over the fucking place, man.
No, you've got to take notice of, it just doesn't happen anywhere in reality. This doesn't happen water.
No, because that's not what's stated.
Wheels, lots of mechanisms, turbines at Niagara Falls, all kinds of places where this doesn't work. 5 times the velocity is not 25 times the force. Making things...
No, I showed in my experiment 1 unit of force. 1 unit of force going 25 times the distance, which is 25 times the energy, force times distance. So what you're arguing there, you're saying 25 times the force. But that's not the argument. Again, get your arguments straight. Read a fucking physics book for fucking 5 minutes or something.
Go faster. Lighter, small things going faster does not make more energy. It's just wrong, and it's kind of...
Doesn't make more energy. It takes more energy to make it go fucking faster.
And prove, okay, the 2,000-year-old concept isn't true. The concept that has, by the way...
Nobody's trying to prove it isn't true, because it is true. Again, you don't understand it. You make these videos, you sound like a fucking retard.
Made transmissions and gears and all kinds of machines that work perfectly efficiently because they do conserve momentum. And they don't do any of this. Yeah, it doesn't happen. You can't make free energy. Oh, fuck.
You're right, you can't make free energy. You're dead fucking bang on right there, yet you keep arguing for it, don't you? without even realising, because you're so fucking stupid.
What the hell just happened? Sorry, computer. It's just, yeah, it's doing things that I don't want it to do. But anyway, I will live and learn, hopefully. And it will.
Yes, all these experiments are doing things that you don't want them to do. You might be living, but you're certainly not learning, are you?
They've got to know that obviously their experiments are flawed, because they can't.
Again, you're just calling fake and fraud again.
Prove this to be true, and they can't prove this to not conserve momentum. And, trying to prove that this doesn't is just. Like I said, I like experiments. Do more. But I'm getting.
You like experiment. You the only experiments you like are the ones that you think support you, and unfortunately, none of them do. And do more. Well, we could do thousands more. Well, they'd all be fake. They'd all be fraud because they don't come out your way.
And they're not trying to get to the truth. They're trying to force results. Do it enough times and enough.
And again, you're making accusations. You're slandering when you've got no evidence to support that. All the experiments that we do follow all the formulas and all the predictions of conventional science. You have nothing. You claim free energy and you haven't got one experiment to prove your case, yet you still keep claiming it.
Rickety ways until you get it to come out your way. That's what Professor Lewin did with the clay. He just manipulated.
And again, Professor Lewin, not 5 minutes ago, yeah, you can't finagle momentum, he's the best ever. No, he's a fake and a fraud. But he is a professional physicist doing a professional experiment for students, teaching them reality, the truth. But now that's fake. You see how fucking contradictory you are?
The cards until the experiment worked. All right. Worked in the sense of coming up with the nonsense results. Okay, so enough said. So, the saga.
Yeah, again, enough said. Enough bullshit said.
I mean, really, this is the, if let's just say I'm right, okay, about all this stuff. So just.
Let's just say, no, you're not. Because that's the truth.
Just for a minute, just bend your imagination.
Oh, I would have to bend my imagination a lot for that to be a reality.
Imagine that I'm right. Can you imagine the documentary of this story?
No, because it's never going to happen.
But what's the story? I mean, I'm making these clear, obvious challenge. Go ahead, show me this somewhere. Just show.
You've been shown.
Put to me, and the argument is over. Show me in some.
The argument was over. Oh, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago when Steve launched masses off the edge of a table, and it proved you wrong then. And from there on in, you've just kept saying the same thing over and over. You've been shown experiment after experiment after experiment, and you are wrong. Plain and simple. You know nothing about physics.
For some kind of evidence that has some kind of integrity. Mythbusters crash cars. I don't think you have to do that. They could have engineered a.
Hey, we could crash cars. We could have you up against the wall.
Better experiment. But don't you think there should be somebody engineering those better experiments to get to this truth? You're going to claim it's true. You should prove it's true.
We have. Lots of us have. There's loads of other experiments on YouTube that has nothing to do with the few that have done the experiment showing you wrong. You can find them if you look. You can read a textbook. You can perform these things for yourself.
Jesus. So all this, 10 years of this, and what's the reveal?
Yeah, 10 years of wasting your life. How sad.
You just don't want to hear that your fable isn't true.